So what were the top 10 best-selling cards or Yu-Gi-Oh! Products out of Cyber Weekend? You guys remember that kickback the TCG player just did? Make sure you guys smash the link, crap out, subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. So evidently Wanted rose to the occasion out here. Now, I want to say this is really funny because I think a lot of us are expecting Wanted to go to 1 on the next list out here, but people were seeing $2 to $3 for this, and they're like, screw it, man. Like, let's spend the money and pick this up. I'm not gonna lie, like a couple of dollars to pick up a playset is not gonna break anybody's bank out here. Wanted is just one of those cards that people can splash into all these decks. They get all of these cool opportunities to play with them, and that really has just got people excited. I don't see an issue with that whatsoever. It's just, if you think that the Wanted package is probably going to survive on the next list, well, I hope you got your $10 worth of the play out of it before it actually happens, because I am not imagining Wanted sticking around, because too many of that card is really, really dumb. Lacrima. Now, this is also interesting because we have seen Engraver itself has just kind of been steadily sitting where it's been. But you mean to tell me that number 9 on the best-selling cards was actually just a Lacrima? Okay, well, this does prove that we had the most recent hype out here with Fiendsmith. And I guess Lacrima just checks the marks as an extremely cheap card. But that's actually insane. Are people really thinking that they're going to need triple Lacrima out here? Like, is that the case that we're looking at? That they're like, hey, I'm going to need triple copies of that Lacrima card in order to... No, one has been fine. If you're trying to play multiples, I feel like you're just asking for unlimited bricks, and that's not good. If you're getting yourself into that situation where you're like, oh, I'm going to need to play 3. No! But I guess having the playset right now, depending on where people think things are going to go, I guess is a little bit of a payoff. Crossover breakers, yeah, this doesn't surprise me. Boxes of this set were stupid over the weekend. We saw these hit like $92 to $94. And I remember just looking at those going, they're $75 on TCG Player. What in the hell are people doing? Like, why are you throwing this much money at the screen? Like, 10% kickback. You can still get it cheaper over on eBay. Go over to Sassy Auto and pick them up. You have a reputable seller actually selling these at an acceptable price. Like, what are you doing? But that didn't stop the community from going crazy. They were spending $90 plus to get 10% off, and they're justifying it. All right, that just proves the community is so absolutely nuts for crossover breakers right now. It is crazy to me, man. I have never seen anything like this with a set where people are just willing to spend so much more money. Like, what? Diaelstar, no, this doesn't surprise me either, in the same category as Wanted over here. Diaelstar has been the thing that has been, really, really, really enticing budget players to look at these fire decks and go, hey, I can splash this in. OSS and Pobler had a little bit of a pickup this weekend. I sold a lot of OSSs. People looked at $5, $7 OSSs, and they just didn't care. They were willing to spend the money on it. And granted, OSS is what, like a one of, some builds are trying out 2 of it, depending on where the evolution of the deck wants to go. But I found that very interesting, actually, that the entire Snake Eyes package now being as cheap as it is, people do not give a crap if it's going to get limited. To them, the cheaper cards prove that it's not going to be much of an issue for the long term. Also, I guess getting screwed out of a couple dollars is not necessarily the worst, right? Blue Eyes White Dragon Quarter Century. Where in the world did this come from? I guess it's because we have, the whole Blue Eye structure deck coming out here in the future. People are excited to get the chance to test this stuff out. And yeah, true. It's cool. Like, I've done a lot of testing of this. The deck is a lot of fun. And before somebody's like, where do you have those, Robbie? Hey, look, piece of paper. All right, I don't know why it's so hard to understand that, but Quarter Century Blue Eyes, I guess people just want the highest rarity to be able to play, or what they deem is their rarity, and a lot of collectors just like the Quarter Century Blue Eyes, man. It's not that deep. When you look at these higher rarity sorts of cards, and you have things like this, it's one of those situations, sure. in terms of the fact that it was this particular Blue Eyes, though, and not the other ones, was really, really funny to me, actually. Because they did not combine the Blue Eyes. It was just strictly this one was the best-selling one. Mereologic Aggregator. Yeah, this doesn't surprise me. When you have a card that people are looking at as a staple in how many decks right now? So Rizal wants to throw it off of EXE. You've got Ultimate Slayer that needs to throw this at your opponent so you can get the negate on that. You've got Malice that are throwing it off of the Firewall Dragon. This card is just getting thrown around everywhere right now. And Mereologic hitting that $5 price point isn't stopping people. No, people are like, hey, $5? Okay, well, sure, I need this for my Ultimate Slayers that I already picked up. That's fine. Maybe someday we'll get a major upgrade for this. But today is not that day. Mereologic just exists as a super rare. We've hit that $5 price point. We might be heading on up to the $10 range here in the future. But I don't foresee that anytime soon. Mereologic is just straight to just kind of cruise controlling on up. That's all there is to it. All right, so if you don't have your Mereologics, you've been warned, actually. Bonfire. Oh boy, back to the era of fire discussion out here. I don't know why anybody's surprised about this one either. Bonfire literally is a rota for fire monsters, and the card is now effectively budget. And I can guarantee you every person out here that's wanted to play some sort of fun fire deck is now getting the chance to do so at what, like a cost of $15? We are not breaking any banks by picking up a place at a Bonfire. That's why people are going out here. They're going so crazy in these Wanteds, these Diaelstars, and these Bonfires because they're so cheap. I know we've talked about in the past that people look at these $1, $2 cards. They are way more enticed to spend that money on cards than $10, $20, $30, even $5 cards some days will struggle because people don't want to throw the money at them. And when you can get a place at a Bonfires so incredibly cheap right now, you best bet your budget that people are coming for that opportunity to pick those up. And nothing short of anything strange here. Thrust. Oh boy. This was the third best-selling thing out of the weekend. Thrust does not surprise me in the least, considering the fact that Thrust is the one card that can turn into any normal spell card in your deck. Gets you literally access to essentially any trap card you need, pull Imperm, Evenly, Dimensional Barrier, different Dimension Ground, all of these incredibly broken control option cards that you need to throw against your opponent, you can get access to off of Thrust. There's a reason why Thrust is deemed one of the most insane cards ever printed in the game, because it does not give a crap. It pulls out the resource and gives you what you want. It's also why you see like one in the main with a talent, and then you'll see the other copy in the side deck, so that, you know, when they board in these other options, they're able to go get those trap cards, you know, like Dimensional Barrier as well, to punish your opponent. So many options that Thrust gives you. Yeah, it's definitely worth the price point. Quarter Century Bonanza boxes. Ha! The lottery! Ha ha! Not only am I surprised about this, Bonanza has been the best set that we have seen so far. People are just losing their minds at this. They're like, ka-ching, ka-ching, I'm going to go win the lottery. I'm going to pull that $100+ Blue Eyes White Dragon out of a pool of essentially 200 cards onto like 400, yeah. People are crazy. You're only getting 3 of those nostalgia QCRs per box, and they are willing to throw this much money at the thing just to try to pull them. I am impressed with this community's need to collect, but Quarter Century Bonanza, I'm not surprised to see the takeoff with this. That we have followed this set for weeks on this channel. We've done so many breakdowns and so many walkthroughs with this. And to see, you know, people are just like, oh, cost of singles are too much. I'm just going to go buy a box. I'd rather do that. You'd be surprised how much of a mentality that is. SP Little Knight. Really? This was the best-selling card? Yeah. I don't know why a single soul is surprised about this. SP was so expensive for so long. And the fact you can finally pick up an SP and add it to your deck at a super cheap price point is exactly what people wanted to see. And you know what? I'm happy about that. Considering the fact that a lot of builds are kind of starting to test out too. If you're trying some extravagance BS and you're like, hey, I need 3 of this, you know, you had to spend $50, $60. It's like nearly $200 for playsets like half a year ago. Not anymore. It's cheap, it's available, and duelists were willing to spend the money on it. That's your top 10 best selling out of this block. Interesting. Leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace out. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.